And welcome into the Lanyap Show, broadcasting live on my very own personal Facebook page. That's where my audience is right now. This video will be recorded live, and it will be shared on rumble.com, bitshoot.com, minds.com, as well as on YouTube. But don't look for it there. It might not make it there, and don't subscribe to the Lanyap Show or anything on YouTube. Don't worry about YouTube. The audio episode will be recorded, and that will hit Podomatic.com, Spotify, iTunes, whatever the Google one is for Android or whatever, all the podcast forms pretty much. The Lanyap Show will be there. The Lanyap Show, Lanyap means a little something extra. It's free. If you like it, hit like, but if you want to subscribe. If you like the content, it's just me and my buddies. I like to drink. Some of them do, some of them don't. And we just like to talk about current events and whatever is interesting to us. Again, absolutely free. We don't ask for donations or anything. I have a real full-time job. I just like to do this for fun on the side. Got Kelly joining me again tonight via Skype. What's up, dude?
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good night, a good day today.
Oh, yeah. How was your week?
Busy. The kids didn't have school, so I had the kids with me all week.
I know that was busy.
I don't know how many times I had to holler, but I don't know how many times you got to tell a kid stop, and they still don't. They look at you like, yeah, I wish you would. And they do the same thing. They keep doing the same thing. Oh, my God.
Hard-headed. They don't listen, boy.
Oh, nothing bad, but, after 30 times telling them not to do something. Come on now.
Tell
them to stop. Oh, yeah.
I know that's right.
It makes me wonder how bad I was when I was young.
I
wasn't bad, but them kids could be hard-headed.
Cool. And they just don't listen. They don't listen. You can be talking to, hey, listen to me, and they'll just look at the wall while you're talking to them.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. And continue doing exactly what they were doing.
Oh, yeah. I know.
They like to make messes, too. Clean up all day. All day.
And they don't like to clean. They don't like to clean.
Better. Oh, no. Love them, but we can still point out those things that trying to get you going.
Oh, yeah, they make you put in work, boy. It's not easy. Look, when I was younger, I always wanted kids, and I would talk to people, and some people would say, oh, no, I'm never going to have kids. And I was just like, why? I was one of those people. You may regret it one day. Now I realize that kids are not for everybody, man. They're really not. Some people, it makes sense now, perfectly fine. You don't want to have a kid? That's fine. That's your business. Kids are not for everybody.
Yeah. But, I mean, even if it's for you, it's still hard,
Yeah.
It's still hard. It's something you got to want, man. But you gotta know it gets better eventually.
Well, and you love them, and you just want to do right by them.
Yeah, and there'll be different issues later down the road, but at least they'll be able to take care of themselves,
Well, wait till your girls start dating.
Oh, I got a pistol already waiting. With 2 clips, they both hold 13 in the chamber.
Oh, Joe Biden's about to take those away from you.
Well, he's going to have to find it first. He can't even walk up some steps without falling. How he's gonna find my gun?
Well, that's a talk for another night. Tonight, I wanted to talk about Neuralink. Elon Musk's Neuralink. We're talking with him. We're going to go through all about what it is and the future and a bunch of hypotheticals, the sci-fi-ness of it, and how it may really impact our lives. But they were talking to Elon Musk a few months back, maybe even a year ago, and he said they had a monkey that could play video games by just using its mind. No joysticks, just using its mind. And but he said, we're not releasing the video just yet. Just wait. Well, they released the video yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. It's available on YouTube. And I'm going to play it. We're going to watch the video. I had you watch it before the broadcast tonight so you could see what it was about. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to discuss the future and maybe your opinions on whether or not you would even get one and how you think things will shape out into the future. So let's get started. By the way, what's your first overall impressions? I know we're going to talk about it again, but what's your first overall impressions about that video clip of that monkey playing video games?
I really don't have much to say about that. I guess it's just a topic I never really thought about much. Or, I mean, we so used to seeing animals do some pretty advanced stuff, you know. That is pretty neat, though, to see what he can do with just their mind.
Well, it's time to start thinking about that. You might have not thought about it much before, but now it is time. So what I'm going to do is we're going to switch to this article here, and we're going to read up on what is Neuralink. Now, this was written by Kenny L. I don't know who Kenny L is. The site is towardsdatascience.com. What is Neuralink? A look at what is, what it wants to be, and what it could become. So this article is already outdated. July 18th, 2019. So already almost 2 years. And we'll get into it. So let's start reading here. When I first took science class in elementary school, we learned about the 5 senses. Maybe not far into the future, that information might be as outdated as the idea of 9 planets in our solar system. Sorry, Pluto, they say. I don't know. I still like to say Pluto's a planet, man. I got Nate on board with me there. This might be thanks to Neuralink, a company that's been making headlines for its controversial brain chip interface. On July 17th, 2019, the company finally unveiled its hard work in a YouTube live stream. When you first hear it, Neuralink's pursuit sounds like it comes straight out of a mad genius's diary. Certainly, with Elon Musk at the head of the company, that image might not be a far stretch. But if you look beyond what seems to be a sci-fi horror movie, you can get a glimpse of quite a different future for humanity, one that has a new 6th sense, Neuralink. And right here we see some Neuralink prototypes that they've gone through the years prior to its public announcement. These are like some microchips. This one looks like it's got like some kind of sharp thing that sticks in your brain or something. I don't know what that is. So what is Neuralink right now? Neuralink is a device that will be used to help paraplegics with simple tasks such as using an iPhone and making mouse clicks on a computer by making no physical movement. So, like someone who is paralyzed, we know Steve Gleason, right? Steve Gleason, New Orleans Saints fame. He has ALS, and he can kind of control a computer a little bit using his eyes. I guess the cameras like read his retinas or whatever, but there's only so much he can do. Like he can look at text, and I imagine it takes him a long time to write things to communicate. This would allow paraplegics, so someone who is paralyzed, even from, the head down, to be able to use things like an iPhone. So in other words, the chip that they put in you, connected to neurons, we'll explain that later, could use kind of like a Bluetooth technology to an iPhone and use it, or Bluetooth into the computer, and just by thinking in your brain how you want the little mouse pointer or whatever to react, whether it's a right click or left click or highlight text or whatever, you can control it with your brain. So, trust me, Neuralink wants to do way more than this, but this is how they get the foot in the door, right? This is how they get all of that funding, by saying they want to do it first to help out, people who are disabled, right?
Right.
All right. Now, let's be clear, and this is as of July 2019. Human trials have not yet started. Elon Musk and his team are optimistic about beginning by the end of 2020, but they anchor that timeline with the fact that FDA approval is not easy. So, yeah, you got to convince the FDA to let you try it on humans. But so far, the prototypes have been tested on rodents and apparently even a monkey, according to Musk. Well, now we know it's true. We got the video to prove it. The part that's in the brain. Neuralink does involve surgically implanting some components onto the surface of your brain, but brain implants are not new. Research and development has been going on, tested since the 1970s. It's just that previously, brain implants have not been considered enhancements, and that's a key word here that we need to talk about. This is going to be enhancements. So even if you're not disabled, they want to be able to use this as an enhancement. So we are already kind of like cyborgs, right? A cyborg is a human and like robot in one. Half human, half robot. Mm-hmm. We're basically already that with a human and an iPhone, right? If we want to know something, it's not our knowledge. We can just hit our iPhone, use our thumbs here, get in and Google it or whatever and get the answer. And then we know. The only problem is it takes a long time to Google, and then you got to have the internet, you got to have Wi-Fi, and it takes a while to search the database, and you pull up websites, and you have to click on this and that. Imagine if you could get the information almost instantly in your brain without even having to go through your thumbs and everything. You just think about a question, your brain directly connects to the internet and pulls it down, and you get the information already in your brain, and you don't have to read it. The knowledge just goes into your head. That's the huge sci-fi advancement.
Yeah, and fast.
So that's kind of one of the goals that they want to do eventually. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that's super fast. As fast as you can think it, it just pops up in your head.
Well, that's the idea. And how fast can you get really complex concepts basically downloaded into your brain? We don't know yet, but that's what they want to try and figure out and see if they can do. Let's get back to it. Ideally, we would like to preserve the sanctity of the sacred chamber. They're talking about messing with the brains, but at this point, it's not possible. They realize this by running a test. We're gonna skip the test that explains kind of how it works, but basically, it's about where they put electrodes and whether or not one electrode could sense the other firing. And they decided electrodes would need to reside underneath the skull. So underneath the skull, on the brain, implanted on the brain, and the electrodes will have a small receiver that's going to be fitted underneath the skull. And no, you won't have an antenna sticking out of your head, and no poles are not impaling your brain. So if you look on this picture here that I'm showing, this is the Neuralink, the N1 sensor, the first human embedded chip. This is sitting, it's smaller than a full fingernail. If you see here, I mean, they're so zoomed in, you can see this person's fingerprints. I mean, it is just sitting, it looks like, I don't know, it is incredibly small. I mean, maybe the size of half an ant or something like that. Just like the butt part of an ant. Super small.
The size of one of those SIM cards for your phone. You know those little chips you put in your phone?
Yeah. But probably, I mean, I don't know. You messed around with that more than I do, but I don't know. Are they that small, that tiny? It looks like you could just smear that on something. Look how small it is on that fingertip. Look at the fingernail.
Yeah.
Like, that's the middle of the pointer finger right here. It's not even a quarter of the fingertip. It's like 30%. cylindrical, 8 millimeters diameter, 4 millimeters tall. Each has 1,204 electrodes. 1,204 electrodes. So, check this out. This is insane. Stick out your your index finger rather, and try to imagine the chip resting on top. They show the picture. You realize just how small it is. It's certainly smaller than the AirPods I have in my ear right now, which fire signals back and forth by my brain, caught in the crossfire. The cylindrical encasing will be placed in its 8 millimeter in diameter, stands 4 millimeter tall, whatever. I just read that. Coming out of the encasing will be 1,024 tiny, thin electrodes that look like microscopic threads. And when I say tiny, we're looking at approximately 6 nanometers in diameter. To compare, imagine the diameter of your hair, just one strand of hair, then divide that diameter by 10. It's so small that something as comparatively large as a human hand just will not be able to install it on the brain. That's why Neuralink created a robotic surgeon, too. And check this out. This is a picture of the robotic surgeon that does it. Now, this sounds insane, right? There's no way they can do something that small. Well, they did it. They did it with a monkey. They did it with pigs, actually, too. They experimented with pigs before they did the monkey, I believe. So this is a picture of this thing. The surgery is impossible with humans. They have to do it with a robot. This is Max Hodak, president. He's a co-creator of Neuralink with Elon Musk. He said, these things are really, really small. You can't manipulate them with your hand. The threads are peeled off one at a time by the robot to place into the brain. So we had to build a surgical robot. The surgery is not possible without the robot.
Wow.
So you're talking about 1,024 electrodes that you basically are probably so small you can barely even see. To me, I'm just amazed they can manufacture something that small. Can you believe that? Like, how do they manufacture that?
Yeah.
That's nuts. And then
you're right.
And then make a computer surgeon and program it to be able to perform the surgery.
Crazy.
Okay, so let's see. You might wonder if poking the brain will just end up in massive headaches from the pain. The answer is no. First of all, the brain does not have any pain receptors, so you won't feel anything. They keep talking about the surgery. I'm not interested in the surgery here. Let's see. The Neuralink surgical robot takes the variables into account, identifying the right areas to place the electrode, minimizing the likelihood of hitting a blood vessel. Again, I want to skip that. Okay, the part that's outside the brain. So check it out. Having a bionic super brain chip robotically implanted into your head is something that most of us would consider a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Musk and his team want to keep it that way. Software updates are already inconvenient and always happen whenever we don't want them. I mean, do you do your software update on your iPhone as soon as you get it?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just think, hey, let me go check, see if there's an update.
It's better when it's convenient. You want to do it yourself. So the idea of having to make a trip to the local neurosurgeon every time the software wants to run an update takes away a glimpse of the appeal that having a super brain might bring. So a large piece of Neuralink resides outside the skull, as whereas wearable behind your ear. It almost looks like a hearing aid that sits behind your ear. This is called the link. So the wearable called the link houses the software as well as the battery. So this actually holds the software. The other thing is just a chip. And this way, when you're at 5% battery, you can just remove the device to recharge and maybe get a new fresh one and put in, while the other one is charging. Same with the software update, the processing happens on the link itself. I was wondering when I first heard about this thing, I was like, yeah, how do you do an update? What happens when it runs out of battery? There's no batteries that last forever, right? So This is it. It's actually going to be wearable on the outside. Brilliant. I mean, these guys think of everything, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what does Neuralink want to be? It wants to be a computer inside of everyone's brain, one that we don't have to carry around in our hands. and that's undetectable when used. While Elon Musk probably likes the idea of helping out paraplegics, nothing seems to tickle him more than giving our future AI overlords a good kick below the belt, and he believes Neuralink will deliver that blow. Let me expand on that because they don't talk about it in the article. Elon Musk, I don't know if he watched a lot of Terminator movies, but he believes AI, artificial intelligence, and robots will eventually control us. We're going to make computers so smart that they will be smarter than us. They'll realize we're terrible. We destroy the environment, the planet, whatever it is, right? And they would be better off without us. And then they can be smart enough to learn how to create themselves, and eventually you'll have an AI rebellion, right? A robot rebellion. We've seen many movies in Hollywood about this, and it's sci-fi, but it's not so far as beyond the truth, because if we keep developing at the rate we're developing and start making quantum computers and stuff, eventually these things will maybe eventually take a mind of their own, you know? So he says, and it's instead of beat them, and he says there's no way we'll ever beat them. What's the phrase? Instead, don't beat them, join them. If you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah.
So he says, let's just go ahead and merge with the AI now, or as soon as we can. We can merge with it, and then we'll be one and one. That way they won't separate into their own and try to take out the human race. So in the unmeasurable future, he sees Neuralink's brain chip as elective surgery, so it means it's not going to be covered by insurance. Ha ha ha! They're just taking a jab at the U.S. insurance. But it's not going to be a mandatory thing. This is a thing you can choose to have if you want. This is something I think will be really important at a civilization level scale, said Elon Musk. So he says it's not going to be mandatory, but if everybody else around you has the brain speed of a quantum computer, you might need one for yourself if you want to compete for whatever jobs that might still be available for humans at that time. And so that's kind of what that's about. What Neuralink can become. Let's see. I want to skip where they talk about. Yeah, let's get into it. While from a capitalist perspective, bigger than Apple or any existing tech giant except maybe Amazon, because otherwise, where would you go shopping? Where would we go shopping with our minds? Yeah, imagine that. Shopping on Amazon just using your mind. Right now, we can shop with Alexa. You tell Alexa, if you have the accounts linked and stuff, hey, Alexa, it's not going to get something new, but it'll find some of your previous purchases, and you can have her reorder it. Now imagine if you can just do that in your head. Check your bank account in your head so you know how much is in your account, and then you go and order something online in your freaking head because your head's connected, your brain is connected to the internet to do all of that. How nuts is that?
Crazy.
So why would you need an iPhone or an Apple Watch? Actually, why do you even need an Apple Watch right now? That's the writer's sense of humor. When you have it all in your head. Yep. You want to know what time it is? You just think about it, and you get the answer in your brain. The success of Neuralink will change the trajectory of future innovation. What once seemed quite innovative and still beyond reach now seems a bit outdated when imagining a future with Neuralink. But Neuralink can go far beyond the novelties of augmented reality. For example, telepathy is not that far-fetched anymore. After all, the signals being received by the electrodes can be wirelessly transmitted to electronic devices, and the link earpiece is itself an electronic device. Transferring the messages from one link device to another would be akin to dropping images between iPhones. A bit of quantum entanglement, and maybe we can create some telepathic phone calls to our Martian families. Imagine that. Just like telepathy, where you can talk to each other without saying a word. You just share your ideas in your brain. Yeah. It says at this point in time, Neuralink's technology probably won't be able to create full sentences from the little firings in your neurons, but it can be trained to translate certain firing patterns into maybe images or single words, and this type of feature can be improved over time. The speed of communication will also improve. Right now, typing speed, that's the fastest you can communicate is as fast as you can type. But Neuralink, basically, you don't have to type anymore, right? You can just think the words almost instantly as they leave your mouth, and those ideas can be translated. And they say this. I still don't quite get this paragraph, but I'm going to read it. By the way, I'm having a Mai Tai. This one is a Mai Tai made with orgeat syrup. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Orgeat. A little bit fancier of a Mai Tai. That's what I'm having tonight. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Another more edgy use could be used as a replacement for drugs. Let's start with the more acceptable recreational uses. So I guess you can fire off, I don't know, those pleasure receptors in the brain. So you actually don't need to smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol to get those effects. You can still have those effects. Maybe you just pay for an app for 99 cents or something. And it makes you feel like you're high without ever having to smoke anything or drink anything. That would be incredible because it would help you live longer, This raises questions about how Neuralink intends to regulate the use of its software, including third-party development. So we'll see how that goes in government regulations. But I don't know. That's a little bit interesting. I don't know exactly how that would work, but I guess it could, your pleasure receptors or whatever. You can just have it just hit your dopamine. You just get a big old juiced up dopamine from nothing, just from this thing, and it just makes you feel great. Imagine no more depression all the time because you could just buy an app that just keeps feeding your dopamine and shit, and you just feel happy all the time. I mean, you're just happy all the time. We get rid of that's how we solve depression. Could you believe that? That's how we would solve alcoholism.
Like the society isn't already spoiled and already hooked on electronics already, and you have all this.
Well, now you bring it up. The future concerns. So talking about concerns, there's a list of that too. Ransomware, a virus that locks your computer's files and deletes them one by one until you pay a ransom. Imagine that on your brain, or hacking, or software bugs and hardware defects that could become a threat to your daily life. What if somebody hacks in there and it sends everybody who's connected a signal to make them kill themselves or something?
Wow.
I'm sure you could probably shut it off, though, if you wanted. But how will you have that power? Will it have enough control over you to where you can't shut it off and just think like a normal person? People could hack in there. And the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is we already have Google, right? So if this thing is connected, all the information you want to know, what you say you Google it, right? If you have a question, you Google it. Well, we already know we can't trust Google. They already censor certain political sides and certain viewpoints, and they promote certain viewpoints and stuff that might not be real. So if you think you're enhancing your brain, you might just get one. They might make us all Democrats. We might all just start thinking like Democrats now if we use this software. You know what I'm saying? There's the potential for that. We'll never have to vote for a president again because we'll all agree for the same candidate because we tap into this Neuralink thing, and the one that's controlling all the information, that program just tells us that's the way it should be. So that's some ethical things to think about.
Yeah.
We just got one. My dad's joining us in. If you're watching the show live on Facebook, please feel free to comment. Let us know you're watching. And if you want to steer the conversation in a certain direction, tell us what you think about Neuralink as well. But we'll continue going. another part of my concern is in a more far distant future. If this thing ends up happening, right? And man, I don't know. Do I want to dig into this? Let me write myself a note because we need to watch the monkey before maybe we go this deep into it. Let me write myself a note right now, real quick. Give me like 20 seconds or so. I got to write this note. Let me think about what I wanted to say. Okay, because we're going to really do a deep dive. I'm talking about artificial bodies, and in the future, everybody's as smart as everybody else. There's no more stupid people because we all have the same intelligence because we all use this Neuralink network, right? So we're gonna deep dive into that and get really crazy and hypothetical. But let's watch this video. Let's see, we're about at the end of this article. Let's finish the article. In the less distant future, another concern is Neuralink's ability to not only read signals, but fire its own signals. It's essentially able to do work on behalf of your neurons, but the brain is very sensitive. It changes throughout an entire lifetime in response to different stimuli, including chemicals and how neurons communicate with each other. Adding Neuralink into the question could change how our brain develops and even our bodies maybe later on. So that's the end of that article. Again, Kenny L., business, tech, practical, writes for towards data science.com. Now, I want to get into this video. Let's watch this video. I don't believe we'll have any copyright issues or whatever. This is from the Neuralink official YouTube page. It's called Monkey Mind Pong. This was uploaded April 8th, 2021. At this point in time, it's number 5 on trending. So if you haven't seen it yet, we're going to watch a monkey play the video game Pong with its brain. And let me go. Let's make sure we get the audio. The narrator's also going to explain this to us. Hold on. That's not coming through. And I know why. Give me a sec here to get this audio outsourced into our broadcast. Like this. So
this is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw.
All right, that was a part I didn't get immediately right away. I watched this video a few times, and I was like, well, he's still interacting with the computer, not with his brain, right? Because he's still touching this straw thing, and I thought maybe they were playing tricks on us. Actually, no, this is a straw. This is not connected to the computer at all. They made a banana smoothie, and he's just drinking the smoothie. That's what he's doing with that straw. He's just sucking the smoothie. That has nothing to do with the computer. It's not connected to the computer. It goes down into a thing. The monkey doesn't know that. That's how they keep his attention and get him to want to play. So it's like, your World of Warcraft nerds sucking down your Mountain Dew while you're going raid dungeons, right? That's kind of what Pager is doing here. He's sucking down a banana smoothie and playing video games. Here we go.
We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Pager's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Page's intended hand movements in real time. First, we calibrate the decoder by recording neural activity as Pager uses the joystick to move a cursor to targets presented on the screen. As he's playing this game, we are wirelessly streaming, in real time, the firing rates from thousands of neurons to a computer. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce. After only a few minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick. Pager still moves the joystick out of habit, but as you can see, it's unplugged. He's controlling the cursor entirely with decoded neural activity. Our goal is to enable a person with paralysis to use a computer or phone with their brain activity alone. Because they wouldn't be able to move a joystick, they would calibrate the decoder by imagining hand movements to targets. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong.
Okay. Now, I'm going to pause this. I apologize with the little audio snafu we may have had at the beginning where I had it double linked through. But we're going to continue this in just a few seconds. But I want to say I watched this video multiple times, and I noticed that the monkey would move his hand. Pager would move his right hand. He's holding the straw, but he'd move it a little bit when he wanted the paddle to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought maybe this rod that he's drinking the smoothie out of, it was like a bar. As long as he touched it, the paddle would stay down. As the more he let off on it, the more it would go up. So I thought, maybe, look, because I'm a skeptic, okay? I'm a skeptic, and I'm going to try to disprove it. So I will say I don't know if it's 100%, because I did notice this. And when you watch this video, you're going to notice it too. That maybe potentially this is some kind of thing that keeps electricity judges from Pager's hand, and when he's holding the bar, the paddle wants to stay down. The more he lets off of it, the more it goes up. Now, granted, his mouth is still on there. His lips are sucking on it, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, as a skeptic, I kind of noticed that. But what they're saying is there used to be a joystick there, and he's still kind of moving his hand out of habit because he learned he had to use it, but he doesn't have to do it anymore. But he's still thinking about moving his hand. So when he moves his hand, the paddle kind of moves, whether or not he's touching anything. He's still thinking about it, and he still kind of moves his hand a little bit anyways, but it's totally unnecessary because they're just judging his brain patterns, not what his hand is doing. And I believe it. Again, the skeptic in me looks at it, and I see his hand moving, and I'm like, maybe it's some kind of metal thing, but I don't think so. I think this really is just a straw. I'm going to believe it. I could be wrong, but I believe it. And look, the reason why I believe it is Elon Musk and all the stuff that they've been doing. They build rockets and stuff. Why are they lying about this? You don't have to buy it. It's totally voluntary. So why would they even be doing it? So they can get more money from the government for research, possibly. But he's got, do they really need that? They've got so much other avenues. I mean, he makes Tesla cars, for crying out loud. The SpaceX, he does so much stuff. I don't think there's any reason for them to fake this. But as a skeptic, I'm always keeping an eye out for these sort of things. Anyways, let's watch the last minute of the video.
To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink. As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at Mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain. Great game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana? We still have challenges spanning many fields of engineering. So if you're good at solving hard problems and want to change people's lives, even if you've never worked with the brain before, we would love to hear from you.
All right, so that is the video. That is it. That is Neuralink. What do you think, man, about all this stuff? What was your first impressions when you seen that monkey? I know you said you didn't have much to say, but you got to be thinking a little bit about it.
Not really. It's not something I really get into or even think much about. It is pretty impressive. I mean, how they can get an animal to think that way and, you know, move stuff with its brain.
And it also shows you how smart that animal is, because it understood how to play the game and what you needed to do and what was wrong, like how you lose. It understood you don't want the ball to pass up the paddle and go to the end, because then you lose. You want to keep the ball in play and bouncing back and forth. So that monkey got smarter.
Oh, yeah.
And this was something.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so you got that right.
This was something that Elon Musk said, trying to adjust my chair here, that happened months ago, maybe even a year ago. They're just releasing this video to us now. Imagine what else they're getting this monkey to do at this point. I don't know. You know, they're going to keep this stuff hush-hush. At least we know for a fact that if this is real, then they've gone way beyond, and they're doing more stuff than just this. This is just what they're releasing to the public. Just like the United States and, their military stuff. They're not letting the public know. They're not calling the press and say, hey, look at this new rocket launcher deal or whatever we have. No, they'll show them that 10 years after they create it, because they already have something 3 times better, you know?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what you would do, man, if you had the ability to get this chip, this Neuralink thing, implanted in your brain. Would you do it?
No, I sure would.
And
I
why
don't
not?
need it. I'm smart enough without it.
But
or dumb enough without it. I don't know.
So you just wouldn't do it. You would never do it, even if it was free. And you could always turn it on and off. When you wanted to use it, you could turn it on. When you didn't want to use it, you could turn it off.
Nope.
You wouldn't even have to have
interest.
an iPhone. You could just do everything with your brain.
Nope.
I don't know, man. I think I would do it. I think I would take it. I'd never cease to stop wanting knowledge. I just want knowledge all the time, man. That never ceases for me.
I mean, you'll never feel like you have all the knowledge. So, I mean, even with that, you still wouldn't be, you would always feel like you could still learn more even with that, but it wouldn't really solve anything.
You don't think it would solve anything? What if, okay.
Besides just being quicker, like looking up the information, besides that, I don't think it would really solve much.
Well, that brings me into the first point, okay?
Not for us, but maybe somebody that's sickly,
Well, I think it's going to help people a lot. Yeah, in that instance where somebody who is disabled, that's going to help them live a much more comfortable lifestyle. Maybe eventually they can run some things. A problem, like let's say you have a spinal injury, your spine gets severed. The point is the brain, your legs and stuff might still be fine, but the brain can't send that signal all the way down to your legs. The signal gets cut off at your spine wherever it was severed, right?
Yeah.
But if they can go and they can attach it from your brain down to that limb, and the electrode runs through your back, like they just replace it, You might get a bunch of people who can walk again. Paralysis might be done. You might never, you get paralyzed until you get the Neuralink fix and you can walk again.
Yeah.
Rehab. This may cut out physical rehab sometimes. Well, if you have a muscle that's damaged, no, but if you have, again, these receptors that get hurt, that's a possibility. But here's the thing I want to say about the intelligence. It's possible. Just think in sci-fi terms. What if everyone is as smart as everyone else in the world? So as long as you have this, you're kind of as smart as can be, right?
Yeah.
So there's nobody, no matter age, no matter sex, no matter race, no matter what country you grew up in, whether your school is a piece of salami, or or you go to the best school in the world, you still have access to the same information so long as you have this thing implanted in your brain. So there's no excuse. Everybody is as smart as everyone, right?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, there may be some people who may be brilliant. Maybe the next Leonardo da Vinci, or maybe the next Nikola Tesla, who maybe has... I'm sorry, hold on. Oh my God, that really hurt. I've been getting that lately. I hope I don't have like a polyp in my throat or something.
Just a hairball.
Yeah, let me take another drink. Hold on.
I don't know from where, but
hopefully that. Well, you don't know what I've been licking.
oh,
Oh man, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt to finish this. That's been happening to me lately. I'm gonna try to power through. Again, maybe there's this brilliant human who might live in something like a country like Ethiopia, right? And never have the chance without Neuralink to even get the education to where they can innovate, to where they can have the ability to gain this knowledge and use it and develop things, develop technologies we can't even conceive of right now. Without this technology, we may not get all this. But if everybody can have this technology around the world, we'd be getting a whole lot more brilliant people. And not only that, we can theoretically, hopefully, stop some ignorant people, stop people from being so dumb. We can get people educated and they can stop making bad decisions. Imagine if this could even be a reducer in crime and murders and stuff like that. Again, we could talk about the dopamine thing, right? Instead of doing drugs and people ruining their bodies or dying early, or they're so messed up in drugs they go kill somebody for the drug. Man, if all they have to do is download this 99-cent app and just hit the button and they get their dopamine and they're happy all the time, they're never depressed. I mean, that seems like it could be a great idea. Maybe we could solve a lot of the ills of society with this. Do you think that's possible?
nope.
Okay, why not? I really need you to talk because my throat is killing me. Why don't you think it's possible?
Because nothing works perfect like it should. It's easy to say all that, but to actually make it function like that is a whole nother ball game. It's easy to say, oh, we can do this, we can do that, but let's see it actually work.
And whether or not it would happen in our lifetime is also another question.
Yeah.
But I remember just what it was a couple of years ago, we had our reunion. It was supposed to be, I believe, our 15-year reunion or something like that, high school. And it ended up being like 16 years because they messed up in scheduling the 15-year reunion. And it was a great time. I had so much fun that weekend meeting these people. And getting to know people who may have been buttheads, let's keep this kid friendly, that are now super grown up and mature and super nice. And it was good. It was good getting back together and hanging out with these people. But I know I had a lot of people going home that night thinking, man, John has gone off the deep end. This dude is crazy. All he keeps talking about is artificial intelligence and self-driving vehicles and all of this stuff. And I was like, no, dude, I just want y'all to know, not only is the future here, but it's like here. We're talking in the next few years this stuff is happening. Let me tell you what's going on with Neuralink, and people, I was like, they're doing this stuff, okay? This was 2 years ago I was talking about this. They're doing this stuff. They're going to have, you'll be able to control things with your mind and speak to each other. The same thing I've just been talking about tonight. I was talking about 2 years ago. Well, I'm sure, and I told people, like, I know y'all going to think I'm crazy saying this. And I know all the conspiracy theorists and stuff say that all the time anyways. But, I'm like, it's happening. All you have to do is, it's not even like you have to do a big deep dive in research. Just look up a video of Elon Musk talking about it on YouTube, and he's telling you what they're doing. Shit, he went on Joe Rogan. I mean, just look at it. Just listen to it for a little while. He's telling you what they are doing and what their objectives are. I'm not a crazy guy. I'm telling you what the head of the company says they're doing and what they want to do,
Yeah.
So that said, I don't know if we really want to dive off the deep end because my throat is killing me, so we may have to go a little bit shorter here. Because I'd really like to get into the really crazy New World Order stuff and how they would use this technology, because their ultimate goal is always to live forever, right? I think anyone's ultimate goal is to live forever. So, but there is the idea of eventually putting this implant in you, and eventually it records all your memories, everything from your brain, and essentially almost your soul. Now, I know you might say something different about that. I don't know about your soul. It's whether or not the soul resides in your brain or however, but there is the thought process that you could store all the memories and stuff from the brain, and when the body starts to die, you can just take a USB or something and stick that in Neuralink, or actually, like, just like you back up your iPhone or whatever. You back up your phone to the iCloud, and then they suck all your memories and everything into a new brain, and then you have this artificial body. They can build you a fake body. It's a robot body, but you still have all your memories and everything, and so you never die, because you never lose your brain. You never lose your memories, and that all stays, and now it just gets plugged into a robot body. I don't. What do you think about that?
I don't even know what to say about that.
I don't know.
Like I say, I never even think about that stuff. Like,
what I'm concerned about is is it really your brain and your memories? Like, I get your memories transfer, but is it like really you that would transfer, or is it just a copy of you and you still die, and a copy of you lives on, a fake you lives on, but you, as so far as you know yourself, dies? There was a Black Mirror episode kind of like that, where they would They would duplicate someone, but still wasn't them. They would still stay trapped, I guess, in the, I don't know, the computer or whatever. But they would watch their alternative self, their fake self, go out and go. So maybe you really can't transfer your memory. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
We might never know.
Yeah, it might not be done in our lifetime. I know they're certainly going to try because, trust me, the rich elites, the people that really control everything, that's what they want to do. They want to live forever. Absolutely. So they're going to be the first ones to get this technology, and they're going to try it. I'm telling you, they're going to try it. But is it really you that moves on? And we may never know for a long time because the new being, whatever, is going to say, oh, yeah, it really is me. It is me, because as far as that being knows, it really is. But the one true being might actually die off and never really get to experience the new experiences. The other experiences are only being experienced by the new being. But that new being still has everything from the past. But the first original being, like you yourself, die off. You never get to experience the new stuff. You know what? Am I explaining that right? Does that make sense? You yourself would die off. You would never get to experience the new experiences when you die, but all your memories and stuff still go. So as far as the new you is concerned, they have always been around and they are still you. But your real authentic you is gone. That's the hang up I kind of see with this technology. And I don't know, because we don't know, does a soul exist or not? You know, and if it can, how do you put a soul? Where does the soul reside? And can that be transferred? Can you transfer a soul at all? You know, that you are more religious than me. You think demons can possess somebody. Do you think a soul can move from one body to another? And like a human possessing a different body?
No. No proof that it ever happened before or could happen, so I don't know.
You know why you don't think about this stuff? Because you don't get drunk.
Maybe so. You might have a point there.
You don't drink, you don't smoke. You don't watch those good sci-fi shows like I keep trying to recommend.
No.
I'm just down to my ice, but I really need that right now for my throat. So we're not going to go too much longer on this video.
What's wrong with your throat?
I don't know, man. I think I don't know if I have a polyp or something. This happens from time to time when I have, not often, but when occasionally it shows up, it's generally because I have a sinus issue and like some allergies and like maybe a post-nasal drip in the back of my throat. And when I talk, because of the business that I'm in, I've learned to project my voice. I do certain things with my vocal cords and my lungs. I don't... You know this. My voice right now when I'm broadcasting is different from my regular voice, right?
Yeah.
I do a little bit more. And something when I do that, like maybe there's something in my vocal cords that are agitated because of post-nasal drip, or maybe I have a polyp in there or something that just, it messes with me and like it'll get caught. It almost feels like there is something stuck or like a muscle spasm inside my vocal cords, or like a sore muscle, or like a Charlie horse. That's probably the best way to put it. It's almost like a Charlie horse in your vocal cords.
Oh, okay.
And it's happened to me, and mainly, like I said, I think every time it's ever happened is when I've had like some post-nasal drip or something, and I cut the grass earlier this afternoon, and you know, it's that time of year. Pollen is everywhere. And people were probably thinking I was a moron because I was wearing excuse me, a coronavirus mask while I was cutting my grass. It's not because I was scared to catch the coronavirus in my own yard with nobody around me. It's just because I was trying to keep my allergies at bay. Because when my allergies are bad, man. When I get all that pollen, I go cut the grass, I'm sneezing for 3 days. My nose don't stop running.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm weak against that. So I was wearing, bet your ass I was wearing a mask. And my neighbors were probably laughing at me, but they've seen me outside before without one. It's just, it was for allergy purposes. And you see, if you're watching the video, I keep touching my nose because it itches a lot. It's allergies, man. It's that time of year. But just to, I guess, maybe wrap it up on the Neuralink thing. Let's get a little bit more into that, about never dying anymore. Or maybe you do die, but whatever. But your memories and stuff still live on. So if you can continue to keep the memories alive at least and move from body to body, and let's say it is a soul. It doesn't matter either way for this discussion, but the body itself, you can just have it interchange. You just keep getting these artificial robotic bodies, and you live forever. Then what is the need to procreate? And then you probably can't procreate with the body, right? With an artificial body, maybe not. You would have to use frozen sperm and stuff from, centuries ago. Let's say this keeps going on for 500-600 years where people don't die. They just keep getting artificial bodies. They're going to run out of all this artificial sperm and eggs and stuff to create these babies, right? So you run out of I don't know. Procreation. It's a possibility at least. So if you never die, there's no need to create children. And even when you do create, imagine this, okay? Because we were talking about everybody can be as smart as everybody as long as they get this thing plugged into their brain. What if you get a 5-year-old kid, okay? He's a 5-year-old kid. He's ready to get the Neuralink transplant. You plug this 5-year-old kid into the same database that has all the knowledge that all human and AI has. And so a 5-year-old is just as smart as like a 50-year-old because it can get all of that information directly right away.
Golly.
So then you start talking about exponents, right? Exponential growth. And this is the other thing I didn't touch earlier. Think about this. Not only is the knowledge that can be tapped into of all human knowledge put together in one database, right? But also artificial knowledge and intelligence. And we said eventually these AI systems with their algorithms, they're going to be smarter than humans. They'll be able to do more calculations than we can, faster than we can, and they're going to learn more stuff than we can. But if we can share that same knowledge with them, not only will we'll be as smart as any possible human could be, but we'll be as smart as any AI can be on an exponential level. And then imagine giving that to a 5-year-old child, and they have decades and decades and decades to live and go using that knowledge. Then you get the artificial bodies. Knowledge can grow at such an exponential level that, I mean, maybe we're ultimately one day creating our own universes. Maybe it can grow to that level where we are gods. I don't know, man. It's it's something to think about. Will the technology ever get there? I don't know. But Elon Musk, somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to at least start the engine. He started the engine.
Definitely. He's definitely starting it.
How much of this do you think we'll see in our lifetime?
There's no way to know. No way to know.
Well, I was telling people 2 years ago that I said 5 years we were going to have automatic driverless semis and like 18-wheelers on the road. And I said, look, I may be being a bit ambitious. It might be 8 years, it might be 10 years, but I'm saying 5 because I'm drunk and I feel like saying 5. But it may be 8 to 10. Well, I'm telling you right now, they've already made the semis. It's just a matter of mass production and getting them approved for the roadways and stuff. But Tesla's doing it, and in 10 years, I maybe I'm wrong. It's not going to be 5 years from when I said that, but in 10 years. And then I said that 2 years ago, so we're just looking at like maybe 8 years. There might already be 2 or 3 fleets created, different models since then. I don't know, man. We'll see. But this stuff is happening, and it's happening in our lifetime. And the faster that it happens, again, I want to emphasize exponential growth because it can happen so fast, it's unheard of. Well, yeah, but people, machines and people will still have to create these things to be able to get it done. They'll have the knowledge, but they still have to physically create it. Yes, but also the intelligence will allow us to learn how to build systems, get things done even faster, quicker. I mean, it's just exponential is the perfect term to describe this kind of growth. It's insane, the possibilities. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime, but I think it's possible because of how fast it can grow. Does that make sense?
Yep. I hear you.
How much battery you got left on your phone, man?
Well, it's plugged in, so.
Oh, you good. You're about to electrocute yourself. Your phone's going to blow up in your hand, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
We're going to start to wind this thing down. But go ahead.
I'm playing Xbox and talking to you at the same time.
It's nice to play a video game on a big TV like that, huh?
What?
So, Kelly, tell them what happened.
Recliner.
Tell them what happened when you came to my house and why you got a big TV now.
Well, I've been talking about getting a 65, but then when I went to your house, I was already close to get one, and then whenever I seen yours, it really pushed me to want another one. And like 2 days later or something, I went Bobby a 70-inch too.
Yeah.
I don't regret it one bit.
Oh, I know that's right.
I'm staying on it. And it already had a really good sound system.
Dude's watching those rap videos, watching the booties bounce in his face like that. Booty 3 times the size of a regular real booty.
Boy.
Yeah.
I can't wait for football to be back on. And I bought it just in enough time to watch the Final Four in the college basketball championship. Loved it. Looked so good on the big TV.
What you playing? You playing some Halo?
Yeah.
Well, I bet you can snipe some people. You can see people further now. It's really, you don't have to be all up on the TV now to try to see somebody in the distance. It's just boom right there.
Yeah, you got so much you can see on the map. You don't have to strain to see.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got 2 TVs. I've been having 2 TVs in my living room. Now I got a 50 sitting next to the 70. So I love to multitask. I could be playing Xbox on
and
the
watching
70
some TV.
have a game on something that I'm interested in on the other TV.
Nice. Where you learn how to do that?
I've been having 2 TVs in my living room for years. It's just now.
Yeah, where you learned how to do that though? Where you learned how to duel from? I want you to give me credit, bro. Give me credit. I'm the dude on Sundays. I had NFL Sunday ticket. I had 3 TVs going.
Oh yeah. That was some small TVs.
Well, I only had them small at that time. I didn't have all the money.
I know. This is the big leagues now.
Didn't have all the money. I still pretend like I have now.
But bro, ain't it gonna be nice whenever football's back on, college football, NFL football, and like for me, college basketball. Hey boy, we're gonna have a lot of stuff to watch.
Well, they've
And I'm
been
gonna have both TVs going.
sports been pissing me off lately, and then now Drew Brees retired. I don't know. It's going to be a miserable season as a Saints fan, I think.
Oh, it's gonna be bad.
No matter
It's
the
gonna be bad.
politics, I will still root. I mean, I was raised on the Saints. The Saints is something that you do down south here where I grew up. So anybody, politically, oh, John, you always say this, this, and this, and this, and yes, I am, and I stand with you, guys, for most of that. But no matter how woke the Saints end up getting, it's like I'll watch the Saints on Sundays like I wipe my butt every time I go to the bathroom. It's just something I do. It's ingrained in me. I can't help it. And I don't even like it. I mean, it's miserable for me a lot of times. When the Saints lose and when they suck, like I'm just in misery. But I have to watch it. I have to. I have no choice. My body, I don't know. That's the way I was raised. I'm not allowed to not watch it. I have to watch it and be miserable. Even when they win and it's a close game, I'm in misery, man. I'm in misery. And John, it's just other people playing a game. I get it. I'm not even in the game. In reality, it means nothing. It's just some dudes playing a game with a ball. Why does it even affect you? I don't know, but it does. I'm just saying it does.
I hear you.
It's a lifestyle, man. It's one of those little things we can do. Have a little bit of entertainment and fun in a world where things are getting absolutely crazy and the Chinese communists are trying to take over and all of this stuff. All right.
Man.
So, man, I'm going to let you go. We're going to wrap it up here. I wanted to talk about Neuralink. I wanted to get into the deep stuff. One day I want to revisit this topic and revisit the AI and the New World Order and all of that stuff and where we're going. But I want to be way more intoxicated when we do so. And it'll be later at night, probably when it happens. But the little thing hit me in my throat, and I was like, okay, I know I can't go too much longer with this. But I appreciate you joining us, man.
Oh, no problem. Always enjoy it.
It's the Lanyap Show. Again, this was recorded, streaming live on my personal Facebook page. And the reason why I do that is because there is an audience there that I can interact with. And the alternative video platforms, they don't do lives. The only other one that does live video is YouTube. And because of their censorship and their priority creators and their algorithms, it's not worth wasting my time there. If my videos show up there, it's because I let Rumble publish it there, but do not rely on YouTube as a source for the Lanyap Show. Rumble.com, BitChute.com, Minds.com, which I love. Also, audio podcasts. The audio will be saved from this show. It will be available on iTunes and whatever the Google Android service is, Spotify, and some other like podcast places as well. I mean, you can actually just Google The Lanyap Show, spell it right, The Lanyap Show podcast, and it'll come up in a Google search in all kinds of different places. And you can even tell Alexa, say, Alexa, play The Lanyap Show podcast. Make sure you say the podcast.
Right.
Or you might have to say Lanyap Show. She might not understand Lanyap. You might have to use a different accent and say, Alexa, play the Lanyap Show podcast. And she'll immediately start streaming like the latest episode. So that's pretty cool too, man.
Yep.
All right, Kelly, well, I appreciate you joining me for the show tonight, and we'll do this thing again. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Peace.
All right, peace out.